Hello again and welcome to this edition of Charge Fast Break. I'm Scott Zarilla. Thanks for joining us here on Rock Sports. Coming up on tonight's show, we're going to sit down and go one-on-one with one of the newest players for the Charge. That would be high-scoring forward Riley Minix. We're going to make you a better shot blocker with Charge assistant coach Mikkel Gladness with his tips from the pros. And Sean White and I will once again take a look back at one of our favorite moments in Charge history as we continue to celebrate 15 seasons of Charge basketball. But at this time, as always, we need to tell you everything you need to know about your Cleveland Charge. The Charge head into the All-Star break playing some of their best basketball of the season. During one stretch, the Charge won 8 of 10 games overall, including a season-high tying 5-game winning streak, which also saw them win 6 straight games on the road, sweeping 2 road trips. Looking back, the Charge came off a 6-4 month of January by opening February with 3 straight wins, with 2 of those coming away from home, highlighted by 2 wins at College Park, including a record-setting performance in Game 2. Game 1 saw the Charge rally in the second half to knock off the Skyhawks 133-115 as the Charge received 20 points plus from 3 different players, led by Riley Minix with a Charge season-high 29 points and 10 rebounds, followed by North Chatham-Mere's double-double of 27 points and a then career-high 17 boards, with Killian Hayes adding 24 points and 9 assists. The Charge then swept the 2-game set over the Skyhawks with a game for the record books, scoring a franchise-best 156 points on way to a 30-point win. The Charge also set franchise records of 43 assists and 27 made threes in 50 attempts for a mark of 54% on the night. The Charge shot 59% from the floor while committing just 8 turnovers. Individually, North Chatham-Mere dominated once again, totaling another 26 points to go along with a career-high 20 rebounds, with 10 of those coming on the offensive glass. Riley Minix added 28 more points, with Killian Hayes chipping in with 26 points and a career-high tying 18 assists. Emmanuel Miller, acquired days earlier by the Cavaliers in the DeAndre Hunter to Sacramento King trade, made his Charge debut and added 17 points off the bench. Miller was acquired as the Cavaliers' third two-way player. And in a corresponding move, Luke Travers was placed on waivers by the Cavaliers. The Charge then returned home with an impressive 140-135 win over Greensboro, a team the Charge are currently battling for playoff positioning in the East. Killian Hayes led all scorers with 38 points, including 19 in the final frame, while Riley Minix hit 2 big free throws in the final seconds to seal the win and finished with 17 points and 11 rebounds. Darius Brown added another double-double of 15 points and 12 assists. And it was also announced that North Chatham-Mere and Killian Hayes will both be representing the Charge in this weekend's NBA G League Next Up game in Los Angeles during All-Star Weekend. Congratulations, guys, and best of luck. Okay, so you're all caught up with your Cleveland Charge. We need to take our first time out of the show, but when we come back, we're going to sit down with Riley Minix. You're not going to want to miss it. That's coming up next right here on Charge Fast Break. And welcome back to Charge Fast Break. And it is a real pleasure to welcome in the newest member of the Cleveland Charge, Riley Minix. Riley, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited.
Excited.
Now, you're excited?
About this year, what we can do.
Oh,
We're 4 games in, but I'm excited about this interview, too.
Well, that's right.
Yes.
Don't be. Don't be.
Oh,
Don't be. It's not going to be that good.
I got you.
Now, originally, you're from Vero Beach, Florida, right?
Yes, sir.
You haven't been here that long. What do you think of Northeast Ohio weather?
It's different. Yeah, I'd give it that. It's not like my hometown. I love the Florida weather, but hey, this is a change. I actually spent a year in Kentucky, so I got to feel a Kentucky winter, which isn't as cold, but it's close.
And plus, you spent your rookie year in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Heat.
But yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm used to the heat. Not as humid in San Antonio, but
it was funny. We were kind of keeping an eye on you in Grand Rapids last week with 16 inches of snow, and that was always fun. But you held up well, and here you are.
I'm trying.
And before you know it, it's going to be warm. So.
Yes, sir.
Hey, so where did your love of basketball come from? Your brothers, your family, friends, where'd it come from?
Yeah, so growing up, I always loved sports, and if it had something to do with a ball, like I was locked in. That was my actual first word was ball. It wasn't mom, it wasn't dad. So it's pretty funny that they told me that and how much I love sports. But Yeah, pretty much. My cousin, when I was in probably first or second grade, he was playing on the AAU circuit. He came down to the Wide World of Sports in Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
Originally, he's from Maryland area, so Northeast, so I didn't get to see him much. But he came down for a tournament. My parents brought me and my brothers, and we went to watch him. And then after that, he was actually playing Jared Sullinger, who played in the league.
Yep.
And his dad was in the stands. After that game, I was like, I want to do this. I want to play basketball.
Nice.
Ended up working out, so.
So how old were you when you started playing?
I don't know the exact age, but I'd probably say organized sports, maybe like 7, 8.
Okay. Well, better than
Switched it up, yeah.
When did you realize you were pretty good? And were you kind of always maybe one of the better ones in the group that you ran with?
Yeah, I was definitely a late bloomer for sure, but I could always hold my own. I could always shoot it. And I would say in high school, I started to, because I always grew up playing at the park. So I'm playing against older competition. And by high school age, I was like, okay, I can really do this at a high level. And then I went off to college. Took me a half a year to adjust, and then ended up blooming from there, kind of filled out a little bit. By sophomore year, I felt like I was pretty good at basketball. So
we may have to go back in time a little bit before that. Who did you idolize or emulate when you were a kid? Like, I want to be that. Now I can play. I want to be like him.
Yeah, I would say as far as athletes go, growing up, I was a fan of the NBA, and Kevin Durant was my favorite player.
Okay,
he just made it look effortless, and love watching his game. And then as far as an athlete, I grew up a Florida Gators fan, and I love Tim Tebow. His mentality, his mindset, the way he led was very inspiring for me, and that's kind of what I've fallen into a little bit, and the way I talk on the court and different things. So.
Well, you've definitely got some Kevin Durant, a big that can shoot, so no doubt about that. So any skills that only people close to you would know? Can you sing? Can you dance? Can you paint?
No. I would say maybe in elementary school, middle school, even high school, I'm a little artistic. I can draw a little bit.
Okay, there you go.
I could do that, but then also what I said, ping pong, cornhole, that's my forte.
Okay.
So if there's some type of smaller game like that, any competition, trick shots, anything like that, I'm telling you, I got it.
Well, no, you're right when you bring up trick shots, because for our viewers at home, when you first came aboard in Grand Rapids, you walked out and you just hit half-court shot after half-court shot, and you shoot all these crazy types of things. Where did that come from?
It's just always been something, in order to keep the game fun, enjoy my time playing basketball, not only in practice, but after, different angles, off the bounce, half court, I love it. And it gives me a way to compete. This is actually kind of where it comes from. In order to keep things fair between me and my little brother, he's 8 years younger than me, because he was the one in the house for the most part when I'm in high school, and I could get him to do anything, just tell him $10 is on the line, he's coming. So that's kind of where it came from, just doing trick shots, doing competitions that gave him a 10 times advantage. So kept the game fair and allowed me to have a little bit of fun with it.
So how's your time been in Cleveland? It seems as though the guys have really welcomed you, and you seem like you fit right in. Have you enjoyed your time thus far?
No, I'm really enjoying this organization, this program. Guys are great. We're going to dinners. They're making the transition easy, seamless, and glad to be a part of it. We're winning games and hope to keep that going. So. It's been fun.
Last one before I let you go. I'm kind of saved the best for last.
Okay.
You like tennis. I saw you in the back talking to Darius Runnell, teaching him how to keep score. Where does that come from? Because I'm a big tennis fan myself.
Yeah, so my mom, growing up, she worked in finance, and she worked for the Marty Fish Foundation. Yeah. And Marty Fish used to be top 10 in the world. Yeah. And I used to do volunteer events, helping coach little kids when I was in middle school, high school. So that's kind of where it came from. And then since then, it's stuck. I've always been a fan of Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, Rafa Nadal, so all those guys. And then now Alcaraz is on the scene, Sinner, Zverev, so all those guys are pretty good. And I don't know, it's one of the many sports I love. So
Well, you and I are going to have to do a lot more talking,
sure.
and who knows when the weather finally gets nice, maybe we can get up between the lines.
Hey, I'm down. I actually talked to somebody in San Antonio a couple weeks before I left, and he played tennis. And I was like, you let me know, because I haven't played in forever,
Me
but
too.
I watch it all the time.
Me
and
too.
I love it.
Sounds great. Riley, great to chat with you. You and I could talk forever. We might have to do a second segment. That was really good.
Yes,
you
sir.
down? It was so good. Well, I said we were going to keep it to 6 to 7 minutes.
Yeah,
It's been a little bit longer, but that's all good.
Appreciate
the time. All right,
sir.
we need to take a time out. You're watching Charge Fast Break right here on Rock Sports. Welcome back to Charge Fast Break. I've got a question for you at home. Do you know what happened on February the 24th, 2007? Time's up. No? This gentleman would know, because Mikel Gladness, our assistant coach for the Charge, he set an NCAA record when he played for Alabama A&M when he blocked 16 shots? 16 shots against Texas Southern. When did you know that you were really piling up the blocks, Mikel?
I don't think I really realized until the second half. I mean, you know, things keep happening, the game's flowing, you just in the rhythm of the game. Like, I know I had a lot, but I didn't know how many is a lot, you know? So,
were you surprised at the end of the night when you saw that you had 16?
Oh yeah, I mean, we have a section at Alabama A&M called the Dog Pound.
Okay.
And they were constantly talking to me. I think I went to the free throw line, or I was like boxing somebody out the second half, and they were like, "Oh, you got 13 right now." I said, 13? What? 13 what? And then that's when it clicked.
Okay.
That was a lot, and just kept happening.
And you kept going because you had 11 in the next game. That's quite a run for you.
Yes.
So let's talk about it, because everybody likes to score.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like to rebound. Some people like to dish the basketball. Not everybody likes to block shots. It kind of gets a little lost in the shuffle, doesn't it? A little bit?
Yes, it does. I feel like the shot blockers don't get the glory for what they do, for how they anchor defenses, and how they make sure that, you know, even the most skilled defenders, they're safe when they let their man go by them. So.
Yeah. Now, you don't have to be the tallest. You don't have to jump the highest, though both of those help. Would you say, what would you say right out of the gate would be the most important thing to be a good shot blocker?
The first thing is being in position, knowing where you need to be in defensive, when plays break down, rotations, when somebody gets blown by. That's the first thing.
Okay, and it's also much like rebounding and defense. It's hard work, right?
Yes,
I mean, it's not something that it may come somewhat natural to you at, what are you, 6'10", 6'11"?
6'11",
yeah. So it might be a little bit easier for you, but it's still a lot of work, right?
Yes, it's a lot of jumping. Like, even though I am 6'11", it's some other guys that are pretty athletic. So it's a lot of jumping. Sometimes you don't get it. Sometimes you just deter a shot, but it's a lot of jumping. Make or miss, I mean, you still got to be there.
And there's two kind of shot blockers, right? Man-to-man and also help shot blocking. Were you better at one over the other? Did you prefer one or the other? Is one any easier than the other?
Help side is a lot easier. I mean, if you have a defender that, even if he doesn't get blown by, if he stays on the hip of somebody else and he makes them make a separate move, a Euro step or something like that to avoid them, it's a lot easier, because they never see you coming. They're focused on their primary defender, and they don't see me as a secondary defender coming over. As long as I'm there to come over the top, that makes it easier. Versus me playing one-on-one, after getting the reputation of a shot blocker, of course you would see that a lot of people try to get into my body. My frame and stuff, people think that it's easy, I can get into his body, I can try to pump fake him and stuff. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to on the one-on-one front.
Okay. Now, I would think also something that might get a little lost in the shuffle when it comes to shot blocking, probably have to have pretty good footwork for a big man too, correct?
Yes.
Explain how you have to, I mean, is there a specific thing that when you're defending or playing defense, that you want to make sure your feet in a certain position, a certain rhythm?
So me personally, I like to keep my feet free. So if I get tangled up and you're really like pressing on me, I like to make sure that I have space in between you and me in order to jump.
Okay.
Coming help side, I'm a 2-foot jumper, so in those situations, so I like to go left, right in order to get to a shot block. But those are the two things that really stick out to me right now.
And before we go to a couple things on the block, I'm guessing blocking shots is probably a lot of fun too, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
When you're in a game where you're blocking 3 and 4 or 5 shots, do you do a little talking to the guys, or do you realize or see them maybe come into the paint a little bit differently than they did earlier in the game.
Besides that game against Texas Southern,
yeah.
everywhere else, like you can see, I actually had a guy throw the ball over the backboard before, but like you can see the intimidation factor once you block a few shots. Yeah.
Well, even though I'm just a guard, I'm going to pretend to be a big guy. So let's go with this. I'll take the basketball and let's go through a couple of steps here. Now, if you're on the inside, if I'm on the block, and let's pretend I'm basically your height, what am I going to what are you basically going to try to do? Is I get the entry pass and I'm getting ready to make a move. What are you thinking? What are you trying to do?
Just like if you were to guard a shooter, I want to make you go one way.
Okay.
So if I know that you are a right-hand player,
which I am,
which you are, I would try to push you up the lane.
Okay.
Push you up the lane to use your other hand. And as a right-hand player, you're going to always try to turn back to this right hand. So I know you turning back here after I push you up the lane. So as soon as you turn back, I go up, and I'm ready to block it right there. So it's a little bit of like kind of playing chess, and I know where to push you to because I know I can then predict what move you're going to make.
Okay. Are you a shot blocker as well that use both hands? Cavalier all-time great Larry Nance used to always talk about the reason he felt he was successful a lot was he was able to use both hands. Is this something you try to do when applicable, or are you just the right hand, or does it matter?
I'm mainly a right hand, but I've worked on that being on the other side of the glass, but I try to, right hand is probably the quickest to get up, but it depends on the situation.
And more natural for every match. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my natural position of a guard. And if you're covering a big man across the way, and I get a skip pass or something, and I'm coming down the lane, what are you?
And I'm getting ready for the block right here. As soon as I see you getting ready to take off, I slide over, kind of play little games with you, and if you're going to still continue to come, then I'm taking off. I go right here, and then now I'm getting ready to jump right here.
When you say that once you see me make my move, what is my move that's going to let you know that I'm coming?
Once you pick the ball up and you gather, like you can tell the intensity in which you're coming. But once you pick the ball up and you're gathering, like you're getting ready to go like a layup, you gather. Now I'm here.
Okay. So timing is a big part of it as well.
Because now you have no choice unless you're going to pass it. But most time you find that people, once you're already in the air, it's hard to make a decision after that. So you have to go with your initial decision. So that makes it a lot easier.
All right. So for our young viewers at home, that might be a lot of information. So let's kind of whittle it down for the youngsters at home that are finding themselves a little bit taller, and the coaches are telling them you need to be a better shot blocker. What would be some of the basics you would tell them?
Be in position. Know where you're supposed to be on defense. Timing. Watch for the gather. Watch for them to, they're going to shoot. Be the second one off the ground. And go get the ball.
And use the footwork as well?
Yep.
Very good. Mikel Gladness, the guy who holds the record for most block shots in a single college game. If you're not a better shot blocker now, folks, we can't help you. Coach, thank you for the time as always.
Thank you,
I got to get out of the lane before he swats me out of here. Let's take a quick timeout. You're watching Charge Fast Break on Rock Sports.
Step to his right, the three ball. Good! Oh, what a shot!
Celebrating 15 seasons of Charge basketball, one moment at a time.
On January 25th, 2025, Darius Brown went on a run for the ages when he drilled a career-high 8 threes, including 6 straight in the third quarter, to cap off a 33-point effort and lead the Charge to a 122-110 win at Delaware.
Celebrating 15 seasons of Charge basketball.
And welcome back to Charge Fast Break. I'm Scott Zarula. Thanks for joining us as we continue to celebrate 15 seasons of Charge basketball. We're looking back at our favorite moments of Charge basketball, and helping us do so is Charge Vice President of Communications, Sean Wise. Sean, we're going to go back to what we saw right there a moment ago. Back on January 25th of 2025, not that long ago, Darius Brown II, he had one of those streaks of shooting the basketball historic when he made 8 on the night in 10 attempts. He made 6 straight in the third quarter. Boy, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we call that the DB game. He was a rookie last year. When you're a rookie coming out of college, coming into pro basketball, no matter how good you were, sometimes you got to figure things out. And not to mention when you have other two-way players and a full roster of pros on there, So we started to see DB kind of figuring it out early January, had a couple 20-point games. And then we go to Delaware for this trip where he's kind of got to be the featured point guard. And he really just, it was his coming out party, really. Yeah, 22 points in that first game against Delaware. But then this one, he absolutely just caught fire, caught in a rhythm, and carried the team on his back to the victory.
11 of 14 from the field, 8 of 10 threes, as I said. He also had 7 assists, and we know more of really is like a defensive player for the most part in running the offense. Had a couple of steals, finished with the 33 points, but those 6 threes in a row. I remember the building in Delaware where I'm sitting, we've got the bright open end to my right now, that natural, and that's where he was shooting. And I'm like, man, he's like, that brightness coming in wasn't affecting him at all. And boy, once he hit a couple, my calls started getting bigger and better. And that was really a lot of fun.
You're right. It's like 2 or 3 in the afternoon in Wilmington, Delaware. The sun was coming right. It's all natural lighting on the end of the gym. And it did not faze him one bit. And matter of fact, he embraced it because he absolutely just could not miss from that end and carried us to victory. And it made a fun post-game travel right to the airport that night to get out of there and get right back to Cleveland with a nice win and him carrying us. You know, when one guy has it that hot and everybody just kind of feeds and goes around it, it makes for really pleasant basketball.
What was the bench like on that? Because I know you were sitting down by the bench, the end of the bench. What were those guys doing when he's going on and on?
You know, especially, like I said, a guy that was a rookie and was just starting to kind of come into his own. You know, you're in the trenches, camp, practices, all months at a time, and to see him finally culminate it and catch fire, and when he's just at his best, it's hard not to. I'm getting goosebumps even talk because you're just so happy for them because you've been there for all the hard work, you've been side by side in all the moments, and to see it all come to fruition like that is just truly, it's elating.
It really was a lot of fun again. 33 points, 8 threes for Darius Brown II on one of our favorite moments in Charge history. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Charge Fast Break. We will have more as the season continues. Sean White, thank you for all your insights as well. Until next time, I'm Scott and Zarilla. Thanks for watching Charge Fast Break right here on Rock Sports.